This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Freeman Center Theater for the world premiere of The Elliots.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Allison Darby, the writer of The Elliots.
So you adapted Jane Austen's play.
I did. It was a big undertaking and kind of sometimes a little more than I planned it to be, but it turned out okay, I think. I've learned a lot.
You know, as a theater reviewer,
Yeah.
I've always had a problem with female writers because sometimes they'll write things that are geared only towards women. And again, I know for a fact that, from judging from the women that I'm with, that it's actually good writing. But again, as a man, I don't get that. This I really got.
You did? Oh, that's so fantastic to hear. That's hard with Jane Austen in general. There's not a lot of, you go to the Jane Austen conventions and there's 3 guys and 103 women. So, no, that's excellent to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I really got into the male characters in this piece a lot as I was digging into the text and fleshing out the actual active scenes. There was a lot of motivation that had to be thought out for the guy character, so I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah.
So why did you decide to write? Why did you decide to do this? Why did you decide to write a play adapted by Jane Austen?
Yeah, there's just not a lot out there. This book in particular is famously difficult to adapt because it's so internal. The main character is very inactive and very contemplative and very internal. But it's just a story that I've always loved, and I've felt such connection with that heroine's story that I felt like a lot of people feel that connection when they read the book. And I wanted to find a way to dramatize it in a way that people could viscerally experience and not just read on the page. So it started off as kind of a what if this could happen, and then it turned out it could. So it went through a lot of rewrites and a lot of redos, but I think we got there.
I have a question about the way you portray men, because I'm told that women look at men, they find the attraction to men differently from the way men do it. We look at a man as being richer. We look at a man as being stronger, bigger, But women I've seen portray men being more sensitive, more artistic. What do you think about that?
I can only speak for myself, not for my entire gender, but, I personally appreciate a man who can articulate deeper feelings or express a thought or an idea bigger than just, what we're having for breakfast. So that's something I'm personally attracted to. And when you look at the great history of literature in the Western world and the Eastern world as well, it's mostly written by men, so I have to think that there's deeper stuff going on in there, no matter what they say. So, I think that all women like different things, but I like a man with some substance.
Yeah. Another thing, again, kind of going with the theme of romance, because this is a romance novel.
Yeah.
I usually like when I see a play that some anti-hero, some villains. I like men. I like the hero being flawed.
Yeah.
Having some kind of self-revelation about his problems. Would you prefer writing, say, about a good guy or a bad guy? Because you could have changed the character to make him, instead of a good guy, make him kind of the bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can change when you're dealing with a piece that so many people know and love. It would be kind of like rewriting Star Wars and making Darth Vader a good guy. It's not really kosher. It might be interesting, but I think, even good characters have flaws, and good characters have bad days. Bad characters have good days and can do good things. So I don't think it's always so black and white. But I enjoyed kind of digging into the characters and the flaws that are presented in the text, and maybe expanding those a little bit and humanizing them even a little bit more.
Also, I've noticed a complaint I hear from a lot of women is that there are no strong female role models or no strong female characters nowadays.
Yeah.
Did you try to make the women stronger than the original artist did, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that making them stronger was an intention of attacking the piece, but I do think that audiences today have a different expectation of what a woman should be than they did in 1814, and that's a good thing. And so we wanted to write in a way that people could appreciate good qualities that maybe wouldn't translate so much message to modern audiences. And as a company, Little Candle is really invested in bringing more strong women characters to the stage, because that is something that's lacking in the grand scheme of literary canon. So so that was definitely in the back of my mind as well. But I think that Jane Austen was a woman, and she wrote women characters who were very strong in their way for their time, so I don't think that was too hard to find.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
My name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you are?
Oh, I am Carissa McKinney. I directed the show.
Great. Why did you decide to direct this show?
Well, the production company that I'm a part of decided to choose this show to do, and they asked me to direct it. And I love Jane Austen, and I loved the piece. I love the heart and the story, and so I said yes. I love the characters. There's all very specific characters, and it's really fun.
Great. Okay, so what do you look for in your casting when you cast these characters?
What do I look for in the cast?
What do you look for in the casting?
Genuine actors, real human beings on a stage, telling a story.
Do you look for do you just look for classical actors, or do you want someone who can actually do a little more, a little more drama, or maybe some comedy? Because there were some funny moments here.
No, I truly look for people who can be real human beings on a stage with genuine emotions and genuine needs and wants, and somebody who you would believe is actually living out this story.
Do you pay a lot of attention to, say, their diction, how their accents would be?
Oh, we did. We had an accent coach come in and help with that, just to make sure that the accents were spot on, so that it didn't pull you out of the story.
Yeah, I also hear for plays like this sometimes, do you have a movement coach too? Because they actually walked differently back then.
We didn't have a movement coach. I think that every actor in the show is just fantastic and brilliant, and they kind of found their own way of moving through their character and who their character was and what they wanted, and just magic happened.
Well, actually, I like the play very much.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Did you have any challenges into it?
The challenge of this play is that it's a very talky play. And I think today it's hard for people to listen because they're used to, their attention spans are so short. And so that's the challenge, to make it interesting enough to grab people's attention, and then though it's written so well, but at this time, conversation was important, and that was what was valued. And so this piece is all about conversation, and I think it's a lost art, and it's hard for a modern day audience to listen to so much talking. But I think that the actors do a really great job of filling all of that with an amazing amount of need and want, and I think that the audience really loved it, responded really well to it.
Yeah, I did notice that the talk was a little intellectual. There's a lot of scripture in it, a lot of poetry in there, and they were actually talking a lot. They're actually talking very quickly, and a lot of actors actually had a lot of dialogue.
A lot of dialogue. I mean, it was a challenge for the actors too, because you wouldn't do something and be entertaining, but I was just sit and talk and understand what you're saying and what you're communicating, and they did a fantastic job.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
My name is Kelly Lohman. I grew up in the outskirts of Seattle, been in LA for several years, and doing acting and improv about town, having a great time. I played Anne Elliot. She is a woman who found love early in life and decided to submit to the whims of her family and let go of that love. And she thought she would never see him again. And in this play, The Elliots, Anne encounters her love at a time where she did not think she would, and she's forced to go back over her past and make some new decisions.
So what do you think of the play?
I love it. It's been really wonderful to work on. Allison is a fantastic playwright. Chris is an incredible director, and I just love the cast so much.
You being the lead, you basically did more introspective thinking, more narrating than that. Were you actually able to really tap into your big acting desires, or was it more of a like one-dimensional character?
Characters that don't speak a lot are very can be tricky for that reason. You can read them on the page and sometimes think it's just a simple character, but really it's just about listening and being present and having a real relationship with everyone you're working with, opinions on everything that's happening, and just sort of relaxing, listening to what's going on and staying in the moment.
Do you think that the character changed a lot?
I do. I think that at the time of her loss, she sort of reconciles to never having love again, and she believes that she's just going to live her life supporting her family and being the best contributor to her family and her little society that she can. And when Wentworth comes back, she sort of remembers who she used to be, which is a much more spirited and opinionated individual, sort of a little bit ahead of her time. And there's a moderate evolution to the old Anne that takes place over the course of the play.
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed the play a lot.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. I like that.
Yeah, and actually, there's a lot of female plays, because I have to listen to a lot of plays because of what I do. A lot of the female plays written by female writers I don't get, but I actually got this one.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I think that female plays tend to get plays written by women can get a bad rap because people think it's just a platform for feminism or there's some agenda there. But really, any good play, whether written by man or woman, has three-dimensional characters who really feel and think real things. And Allison has written just that. Whether man or woman, I think that's always the challenge when you're writing. And unfortunately, there's been such a drought of women writing in television, film, and theater, and it's really changing. The tides are changing, so we're going to have more voices like Allison's, like Amy Herzog, like these really great playwrights that are stepping out into the universe, making new stories with really wonderful, well-rounded characters, and it's not just the one Wendy Wasserstein or whoever it might be that's popular at that moment.
Great. I loved your portrayal of the character too.
Thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate it.
And thank you very much for being on the show.
Sure, anytime.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Travis Goodman. Originally from Colorado. Moved out here about 8.5 years ago. I played Captain Frederick Wentworth. Captain Wentworth, he's a Navy man. Came into Somersetshire by way of his brother originally. Happened to meet Anne Elliots. Navy took him back out to sea, and right before he left, Anne broke my heart. So I've come back now looking to win her back.
So what do you think of the play?
I love it. I love the play. It's so, I think, rare to find a great, like, classical style piece anymore that's really well written. It incorporates a lot of humor and, is really tear-jerking, but is still relevant to contemporary audiences, and I think Allison has done an amazing job with that.
Yeah. Did you base any of your emotions on, say, your own personal life?
Oh, of course. I think it's important to draw from my own personal experiences whenever possible. A lot of it comes from my wife and my marriage. I've been married about a year now, so a lot of new experiences there really help fuel me a lot with what I do on stage here.
I review a lot of plays written by female artists, and a lot of them I don't get because sometimes they're really female. Mm-hmm. This one I got. I really got it.
Well, good, excellent. Yeah. I think there's so much in here that it's very easy to grab a hold of. And when I first saw the thing for Jane Austen for the breakdown, I was a little wary of submitting to audition, but just something about the way they presented it, even in the breakdown, I was very intrigued to come do it. And I think the farther and farther I get into the process with them, it just becomes more and more human to me. And I think Allison has really captured very human elements to every character she's got on stage, which makes it very relatable to anybody who watches it.
Great. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Ryan Young. I'm from Texas and went to college in Pittsburgh and was in New York for the past 10 years, acting and writing, and now we've just moved out here to Los Angeles, which is where I am now. I played Charles Hayter. He is a country curate who is in love with Henrietta, and she sees another man who shows up at the amongst the homes, and is kind of taken with him, and so they have a bit of a sort of kerfuffle of love, and then he tells her that he's going to move on, and then she decides that she actually is in love with him, and their story is requited love.
Did you base any of this on your own personal life, maybe your own romantic life?
No, a little bit, yeah. This a similar circumstance happened with my wife and I, where we were sort of together and then off, and then I was sort of like, okay, I'm ready to get back together, and she was like, well, I don't necessarily know that I am. I was like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I don't need to be friends. I don't need any more friends in my life. And then she, about a month later, came to her senses and came back.
Yeah, well, I loved your performance.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for being on the show.
Sure, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you are?
I'm Emily Greco. I am an actor. I moved down to Los Angeles about 2.5 years ago. I studied acting in college. It's just something that I've always done. This is my second production with Little Candles, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I played Elizabeth Elliot. Elizabeth is a bold woman who is struggling in a society that tells her she has to be quiet and wait patiently for life to unfold for her. She's actively trying to take her life into her own hands and is hoping to marry the heir to their estate, but of course suffers some heartbreak along the way.
So what do you think of the play?
I love the play. I love it. I think anyone who's a Jane Austen fan is going to show up and find a lot of the flavors that they love from reading her books or seeing film adaptations. I think it's very true to the character and style that she has. And so just being in a production that follows her themes, it's a very satisfying experience.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I asked the men if this is very similar to their romantic backgrounds. It's kind of hard to ask the women because the women are the one who are being wooed. What do you think about that?
I think everyone wants to be wooed, and to have dashing men in these fabulous costumes speaking romantic words is lovely. I wish I had a character doing that for my character in the play.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Nicholas Von Olding. Well, I'm an actor here living in Los Angeles. I've lived here for 6 years. I'm working right now with Candlelight Productions and in the Elliots right now. I play Charles Musgrove. He just is there for his wife, Mary, who is a handful. She's a wonderful character to play with, played by Kaylin, and Charles is just a very good husband and a very good person to everybody in the play.
What do you base your character on? Any kind of people you know, or any kind of experience you have?
Yeah, I see him a lot like my father, who just cares hand and foot on everybody and tries not to hurt anybody's feelings and leave every situation with eased tensions. If there's tensions in the room, he tries to ease them. So, yeah.
So was your mother a lot like that woman?
Well, my parents are no longer together, so you can say that. No, I'm just kidding. My mother's a wonderful person too, and but yeah, it's really fun to play in this play with a lot of other great actors that are willing to give a lot and are willing to take a lot. And everybody is very receptive, and the rehearsal process was easy every day because everybody cared so much about each other, and it's really great. It's a great production.
I was impressed by everyone's accents.
Oh yeah. Well, we had a great dialect coach. She worked with us a lot. Only one person in the play actually is British, so but I've done some work in other British plays, and it was just hard work.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Paula Deming. I'm originally from North Carolina. That's where I went to school and studied theater there and got my start kind of working at some theaters out in North Carolina and did some teaching, and then I came out to LA, and that's what I'm doing here.
So what do you think of the play?
I love this play. I think it's so romantic, and it's funny because now that we have an audience, we're also kind of realizing how funny it is as well, because you don't always know if the things you're doing on stage, what the audience is going to think of them, and so to now have this audience here and hearing them laughing at things that we're doing, you're like, oh yeah, these are jokes, this is funny, this is great. So I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I actually haven't read an entire book of Jane Austen myself. One thing is because when I was younger, I thought I was a little feminine. What's this guy reading Jane Austen for? Have you ever read? I mean, that's a long book to read. Can you actually sit down and read an entire Jane Austen book?
Oh yeah, I love Jane Austen. I have read, before doing this play, I had not read the book that this is based on, which is Persuasion, but I had read Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Emma, Mansfield Park, and so when I got cast in this show, the week before we started rehearsal, I got Persuasion, and I read it before we started to help research kind of the character and the story and what was happening, and I loved this book, actually.
Yeah. So you're a big Jane Austen fan?
Yeah, I love Jane Austen.
Yeah, I think I might read it more too, because again, a lot of the modern female plays I don't get, because there are a lot about the way women feel, but I think this was universal. A lot of men understand this.
Yeah, I think it's about love, and especially in this play, love that you thought maybe you lost, and whether or not you can have a second chance at it. And I think everyone feels that. Men fall in love and women fall in love, and yeah, I think it's all about trying to get the person you love to join in that relationship with you, and I think everyone can identify with that feeling.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Madison Kirkpatrick. I grew up in California, Los Angeles. I went to the Los Angeles County High School for the Arts and a year at Emerson College, and I moved back here to pursue acting. I played Louisa Musgrove. She's the youngest sister of the Musgrove family. She loves love. She wants to find a husband more than anything in the world, and she tries to win the heart of Captain Wentworth, and without avail.
So basically, actually, I can ask you this, because you actually did something. You weren't being wooed. You actually kind of pursued a little bit. Well, first of all, what are your thoughts on that?
It was interesting because women in this time period didn't necessarily go for the man. They kind of had to wait for the men to go to her. So it was super fun to play the pursuer and want this so badly. It was really fun, and Travis was great to work with for that as well.
And did you base your emotion a lot on your own personal life?
Not really. I don't think in real life I'm as direct as she is, and I don't think that I would pursue someone that much. But yeah, I mean, definitely past relationships have helped me find love in this character. Yeah.
I love the play, and I loved your character.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Jeffrey Nichols. I went to Cal State Northridge, studied theater, spent a bit of time in New York, and I'm just wandering around doing theater here in LA.
And which character did you play?
Captain Benning. He loses his life early on in his wife early on in the play, and the group comes to comfort him, and he sort of takes a liking to Anne, who doesn't reciprocate that, and so he ends up marrying Louisa.
Great. So did you base any of this on your own personal life, any of your romances?
Well, yeah, many romances in a way. Of course, my girlfriend, who I love very much, but never lost a wife in my life, luckily.
Well, I loved your performance.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
The Elliots will be playing at the Fremont Center Theater from May 9th to June 7th. For more information, go to www.freemancentertheater.com or search for AMB Theater, that's all one word, AMB Theater on Facebook.